Good morning, brothers and sisters. Let's lift up your eyes and look upon the sky, for the Lord teaches us to pray this way. Our Father in heaven. Even the Lord lifted up his eyes and prayed many times while he was on earth. When the Lord ascended to heaven for us, the same he was lifting up his hands and his eyes. Brothers and sisters, we shall learn to see the Lord is in glory with our spiritual eyes. At the same time, we shall think of He is loving us. He is thinking of us. He is embracing us. He is very close with us. We shall also think of our union with Him. He is the closest and the nearest to us. He abides in our hearts. The Lord has millions of loves evident. His desire is to be united with us, to be the closest with us, to live with Him closely. His millions of love evidence, no matter the heart-shaped leaves, the bleeding heart flowers, the stuffed and crossed stars in the skies, to tell us that He needs us again and again, is so precious that it became the evident. The written sigh on his body has left a scar of love. This is the most treasurable evidence of love. We are sitting in the highest and the loving position in his heart. Brothers and sisters, let us shout for joy together, thinking of the union with the Lord forever. We are enjoying his love, which is unique on us. He has no higher love dream than this one. We are the one and His only love. Abba, the Lord, and the Holy Spirit have paid the highest price in order to gain us. Brothers and sisters, if you can look at the sky, lift up your head and think of the Lord, to think of His millions of love evidence, to guarantee our happiness, to make sure we are full of faith and have no worries. I hope we can enjoy fully His loving heart towards us. We always say that we need to see the Lord with our spiritual eyes. The verses I'm talking about is our ear. Not only we have to look, but we have to hear and think. In Psalms 45, verse 9 to 11, it said, "Daughters of kings are among our ladies of honor. At your right hand stands the queen in gold of Ophir. Hear, O daughter, and consider, and incline your ear. Forget your people and your father's house, and the king will desire your beauty. Since he is your Lord, bow to him." This psalm is a very special psalm. It talks about a wedding. These psalms especially talk about the Lord and His bride, and that is the Lord and the church. The church mentioned about us. We are the bride, the queen. Have you recognized in verse 9 mentioned about the queen, who are we, the bride of the church? In verse 10 and verse 11 mentioned about daughter. That was the identity prior to be the queen. Therefore, she was addressed as daughter. These two verses have mentioned about four things. It said, how could this daughter become a queen? Just like in the beauty contest, there were four principles to be followed. There were four things required to be selected as queen. Brothers and sisters, we shall admire to be a queen, neither the name nor the honor we are after. The meaning of the queen is to be the nearest and closest to the Lord, so that we can enjoy more His love. Therefore, you and I shall desire to have a closer and deeper relationship with the Lord. It talks about four things here. That is to hear, to consider, to incline your ear and forget your people and your father's house. I'd like to share with you all the first part of the verses first. that is, hear, O daughter, and consider, and incline your ear. If we want to be more closer to the Lord, to experience Him, the first thing we need to have a listening ear, not the noise. What shall we hear? Here we shall hear the voice of the King, to hear His words, to hear His feelings. A queen who is willing to interact with the King, who is willing to obey to Him. It is important to listen to the King with the right manner, but not adhering to your old practice after listening to the suggestions. When you listen with a willing heart to follow and happy to comply with His will. On the other hand, we shall hear with a thanksgiving heart and with patience. It may take times to listen to His voice. If you have patience before God, also prove that you really want Him. If you don't want God frankly, you lose your patience for listening to His words. For example, if you read the Bible, you read with patience and with thinking, so you can hear His words to you. On the other hand, you shall listen to the voice with admiration, especially the voice of the beloved. You shall hear His voice with desire in your heart, just like some are good at singing and you do want to hear their singing. This is the desire I'm talking about. The other hearing is also very important. The more you listen, the more you can uptake His words. When you're hearing His words, you shall use your ear and eyes as well. When you are in the lecture, you use your eye to focus on the teacher and pay attention with your ear. And this is the right manner for listening. The words also mentioned to hear and consider and incline your ear. The ways of listening mentioned to incline your ear, which is to focus. Do not listen to the noise. The devil usually disturbs us when we read the Bible or drawing near to the Lord. He makes many noises or puts something into your mind in order you cannot hear the voice of the Lord. Our heart shall learn to concentrate. It is not enjoyable to hear the noise. Incline your ear means we enjoy so much when He talks to us. To hear the sweet voice of the Lord, to enjoy the truths and His words with faith. When we come before the Lord, we shall influenced by the truths. The verses said, Hear, O daughter, and consider, and incline your ear. Hear, just like you are taking in, just such as eating. But consider is digesting, and that is the real absorption, for it goes right into you. Therefore, we need to consider. We're taking in. The food is digesting slowly. The nutrition goes into our body and help us to grow. This is the meaning of our mind consider God's words. Therefore, we need to consider, to absorb and let the truths affect us deeply. For example, the Lord is our high priest. Not only we just know His name as high priest, but we shall enjoy what is the meaning of high priest. So we need to use our mind to think the high priest lived on earth in order He can understand us. So the Lord came and became a man for us. The high priest needs to do the offering for us. He died for us. It's so precious. The Lord came from heaven to earth. He lived for us and nailed it on a cross for us. He offered Himself as the sacrifice. The high priest also prayed for us and blessed for us. How precious! The Lord is risen. He appears in heaven for us. He prays and blesses us every day. The Lord abides in our hearts and strengthens us to walk forward, to walk with us and live with us forever. Wow, we have such a high priest to keep us company so that we can enjoy deeper in Him. And this is the right manner. It is important how to listen. I hope you can hear the voice of the Lord every day, to be influenced by His words. If you do the same, we have a lot to interact with the Lord, and we can understand and experience Him more and more. The later part of the verses, forget your people and your father's house, and I will share with you if I have chance later on. Now I'd like to tell you a story. It's about a man who wanted some help from his friend. This man rang his friend and complained to him so that his friend could help to look for a place for accommodation for him. There was a girl who practiced his flute upstairs, which really annoyed him, and the pedicab driver lived at downstairs. His pedicab was so old and so noisy, so he wished his friend could give him a hand, and his friend suggested, "How do you find a place where I am now? Was it good to you?" And the man answered, "Sounds like your place is quite quiet and nice. I like it. Can you help me to look for it?" His friend said, "How about you come over to my place, sit for an hour and see whether you like it or not?" So the man visited to his friend's place and stayed there and felt the quietness. He said for an hour, "It is the time for getting off work. People was rushing home and it's getting noisy." The man heard the neighbors' conversation at the balcony next door. It was an ear-piercing and confused voice. Then he asked his friends, "What was this sound? It's so strange." His friend replied, "There is a 9-year-old boy who is learning to speak." "Well, try to listen and see if you know what he's talking about." The man listened carefully. The boy kept on repeating the same sentence again and again, and this man didn't get it. Then he thought, "Sounds like the sunshine is falling on the ground." His friend laughed aloud and said, "You're wrong." He said, "The sun is shining on the ground." His friend then led him to the balcony and looked. He saw there was a lady stay beside the boy to practice. To correct his pronunciation, "The sun is shining on the ground." But no matter how hard she tried, the boy still can't get the sound right. His friend asked him, "How do you feel if you hear this sound every day?" The man shook his head and said, "I couldn't, for it is so noisy and it goes on and on every day. The worst thing is you never get it right. It would drive me mad." But his friend said to him, "But in his mom's ear, the voice of her son is like a lovely music. Not only his mother think like this, so are all the residents of this building." The man felt it was so strange and said, "What? How can it be? Why do you think that is a lovely music?" Then his friend explained to him, "Let me tell you, this boy was abandoned and someone left him on the ground floor, and this lady fostered him and took good care of him. She found that this boy was deaf and dumb. She took him to seek the doctors everywhere for treatment and hoped he could get well soon. Since he was 4 years old, the neighbor told her his condition was congenital and there was no cure. But this lady taught him and insisted doing that every day. When he turned 5 years of age, he opened his mouth and voice out said, 'Mummy.' The voice was a bit blurred, but that lady could hear it clear. This lady was so happy, and all the residents here were so excited. All of us were burst into tears. Though he cannot say it clear, this boy has finally voiced out to speak. Since then, this lady has made an effort to teach him to speak. Our neighbors has never complained, but encouraged him to try hard. We were so happy every time when we heard his improvement more and more. We saw that as the lovely music. This man left his friend's place. When you hear this ear-piercing sound which makes you so uncomfortable, for you have your ear to hear, as we and all the residents, and especially this lady, heard this boy's speech as the lovely music, for she didn't listen with her ear, but listened with love. There are voices in the world are actually the lovely music. God creates man with ears to listen many voices from mankind. But God even give us a heart. Our hearts can hear many lovely and touching voices. All we have to do is to listen with love. Brothers and sisters, the same when we come before the Lord every day. We don't come to the Lord with our ear to listen, but listen with our heart and mind. Listen to His words, no matter to sing the hymn, to read the Bible, to understand Him with our spiritual ear, but not our ear in flesh. To pay attention and listen with love and your spirit. I'm sure you will hear more the words from the Lord and His voice. May the Lord bless us.